Hello there. In this video, we're going to run some pretty wicked truths by you. Okay? Got your cuppa? Right then. Here we go. The tongue is the only muscle in one's body that is attached from one end, but not the other. How's that for a taste of anatomy? The Tale of Two Lovers, an erotic novel, was one of the best-selling books of the 15th century. It was written by Pope Pius II before he assumed the papacy. According to a recent census, more people are living in California than in all of Canada, even though Canada is 25 times larger than California. This has been brought to you by me from my lovely home in the UK. Bananas start growing while hanging upside down. As they become longer and more pliable, they gradually arc upwards for more sunlight, giving them their distinctively curved shape. During the Great Depression of the 1930s, people made clothes out of food sacks. They used flour bags, potato sacks, and anything made out of burlap. Because of this, food distributors started making their sacks more colorful to help people remain a little bit fashionable. Elvis Presley was originally blonde. He started coloring his hair black for an edgier look. Sometimes he would even touch it up himself with shoe polish.
Have you ever heard of heterochromia? It's a unique condition that causes two different colored eyes or different colored parts within the same eye. It can either be harmlessly given genetically from birth, or it can also develop later in life due to certain medical conditions, injuries, or medications. Interestingly, the condition is fairly uncommon in humans, affecting roughly 1% of the global population, and is much more common in certain animal breeds. Christmas trees. We've all seen them, and maybe they're a part of your own Christmas tradition. But when did this tradition start? The practice of decorating evergreen trees for Christmas can be traced back to Germany in the 16th century, when Christians began bringing trees into their homes. Maybe something you didn't know is these early Christmas trees were often referred to as paradise trees and were decorated with apples, wafers, and other sweets, symbolizing the Garden of Eden and the Christian feast of Adam and Eve on December 24th. How about that? Are you alone? If not, take a good look at the person nearby you. You know, you're both not nearly as different as you might think. Really? That's because more than 99% of human DNA is shared, with only around 0.1% variation making each person unique. This means that we are all vastly more similar to one another than different. And who said science wasn't interesting? Who doesn't love a nicely warmed-up potato or some form of them? Couch potatoes excluded. Maybe then it's not too surprising to say that potatoes are the third most important food crop in the world, after rice and wheat. An estimated 3 billion people eat them regularly worldwide and are a crucial staple food, particularly in developing countries, where they're a vital source of nutrition and livelihood. If that wasn't enough, there are over 4,000 different varieties of potatoes, which can be blue, pink, red, brown, or yellow. There are two distinct species of African elephants, the savanna elephant and the forest elephant. Savanna or bush elephants found in sub-Saharan Africa are larger and have tusks that curve outwards. The forest elephants that live further north in wooded regions are smaller in size by comparison and have straighter, downward-pointing tusks. Both species are unfortunately listed as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Surveys estimate that approximately 415,000 African elephants are remaining as of 2025. With its immense size and diverse geography, Asia takes first place for the world's widest range of climates, encompassing everything from Arctic regions to tropical rainforests. More specifically, Asia stretches from the equator to the Arctic Circle, encompassing a broad range of latitudes, which is a major driver of climate variation, including high humidity in the southern regions, heavy seasonal rainfall, and even cold, frigid winters in the north.
Isaac Newton, most famous for formulating the theory of universal gravitation, is said to have been deeply invested in the study of alchemy, devoting a significant portion of his time and writing to the subject. In fact, many consider it was an obsession for him, given the extensive amount of notes and experiments he conducted. Newton wrote more on the subject of alchemy than on mathematics and physics combined. The record for the longest breath-holding time underwater is incredibly over 24 minutes. In March 2021, Budimir Shobat of Sisak, Croatia, set this world record. He trained for 3 years to achieve this, and he purposely hyperventilated with pure oxygen before his attempt and focused on his heartbeat while underwater. I'm getting a bit winded just talking about this. Have you any guess what the oldest known musical instrument is? It's the flute. A flute made from cave bear bones was discovered by archaeologists in Slovenia in 1995 and is estimated to be around 50,000 years old. Some of the earliest music itself, however, was likely made using drum-based instruments like sticks and rocks, which were the most readily available at the time. The city of Amsterdam in the Netherlands is built on millions of wooden poles. True story. Geological estimates state that the city is supported by around 11 million poles to prevent sinking into the soft ground beneath it, as the city sits largely below sea level. These poles on average are typically 15 to 20 meters long. Forests can create rain. Really? Through a process called the biotic pump, forests draw so much water from the soil that they can actually generate rain clouds. Trees absorb water from the soil and release it as water vapor through their leaves, adding moisture to the air. The vapor can then condense into clouds when it reaches cooler atmospheric levels. How about that? Mageirocophobia may be a hard word to pronounce, but it's a real condition. Mageirocophobia is an extreme fear of cooking, and people with this condition will likely avoid cooking altogether, or even just the thought of it. They may be afraid of cooking for large groups, cooking for themselves, or making specific foods. They may also worry about making mistakes or dwell on past mistakes that could be embarrassing or traumatizing.
So, did you like it, yeah? Comment below your favorite. See you round again. And thanks.